Hi, and welcome to Talk Time with Val. I'm your host, Val, and I'd like to thank you for joining me on this week's segment of Talk Time with Val, where we'll be discussing the safety online for our children. And tonight I have joining me Flint. Say hello, Flint.
Hello, everybody.
And I have the inimicable Matt Hazley joining me as well. Hi,
Hello,
Matty.
everybody.
Hello, Val.
So, Matt, tonight's topic is going to be online safety, safety for our children online. The reason I came onto this topic was, well, as most of my fans know, I'm a gamer chick. I love online games, but the one that I play almost religiously is World of Tanks. I just like blowing things up. Plus, there's no first-person shooters, so I don't have to feel guilty about killing somebody in the other tank. I'm actually just blowing up a machine, right? It's female logic. Just go with it. So anyway, excuse me. This game is interactive. We have tank company rooms, etc., or platoons where people can actually speak with each other. Now, this is a great thing for the game, but a very, very scary thing online when you have children playing the game. Now, this incident I'm talking about, I've had a lot of different incidents on the game where being a female with a voice like mine, I get trolled, which means that a lot of males tend to want to give me attention, whether it's positive or negative attention, whether it's paternal, fraternal, or, the other type that we don't like to mention. I get that type of attention as well. But one thing about being a female on the game, I tend to attract children because the guys on the game are mean to them. So these kids come to my tank company room and they tend to feel quote unquote safer. And while I'll make sure nobody's bullying them or being mean to them, etc., etc., I do have some qualms about this. I've had kids on there basically quote unquote stalk me. Excuse me. Now, I know we don't want to apply the phrase stalking to children, but I get the feeling from, and I've had the statements from several of these children, that their parents aren't giving them quality time and attention, and so they're looking for that time and attention from adults on the internet. That's a very scary thing. Now, um, I had one young man from Wales. Now, I was in Trinidad and Tobago at the time. And this young man from Wales would come in, and he would come into our team speak, and he would basically sit in a room. He wanted my attention solely. He was rude to other players, to the adults. He had different statements, and he thought that my time should be his. And I think he took me as half maternal figure, half as a, how do you put it, a, a love interest, a Valentine, so to speak. Kids get crushes very easily. Now, my concern with this was that if he was my child, I would not want an adult that I did not know having so much sway over him. Matt, you have kids, right?
3.
If one of your young boys were to get on the internet and be there talking to men or women on a constant daily basis, would you think it's normal for those adults to interact with your child socially on a daily basis?
If they're playing a game, one thing, but if they're talking about life experiences and stuff, no, that's not good.
Well, the thing is, generally speaking, I mean, you're playing the game, right? You're in a tank company, you're calling coordinates, divisions, you're setting up for reloads, and, you're basically calling a troop and marshaling your people together so that you can do an assault or a defense. It's like a game of chess. But outside of the game itself, people tend to have other conversations. Do you know what one young man said to me today? He said, and I quote, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me."
I didn't catch it. It cut out.
He said, and I quote, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me."
Oh, that's an old saying.
He was about 9 or 10 years old. What
Yeah, but
10-year-old?
you wonder where he heard it from. He probably heard it from either another gamer, and that. But you got a lot of people that come online that act like they're older than they are. They try to act really mature, and you interact with them. And we talked about this many times that people come online and they play a game, and they
They
talk
have
a lot of
anonymity.
smack,
Yeah.
and then they sit there and they tell you that they think they call it we call it virtual respect, and this is the only place they get any respect is how well they play the game. So that's what they're missing something at home.
Right, but I'm not talking about. Well, yeah, those are people that we do have. We have to look out for, and it's a commentary on society that we have people like that, and that's basically the social structure does not allow for teens and adolescents to have many forms of expressing themselves, developing their personalities, and finding their own niche in society. So they try to form that niche for whatever reason online. And when forming that niche online, they can get carried away because there is a certain amount of anonymity. My problem is simply that when you have little children, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old on here, and they see women getting objectified, they have words that are being thrown around, like the word rape is thrown around in the game often. You have one tank that's bigger than another tank that can take advantage of that tank, or you have a group with one tank left on the opposite team. You have that group basically saying, let's go, quote unquote, rape him. And then there are a lot of pseudo-sexual angst that follows. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I see that a lot of times. But we really didn't allow my oldest son to play any games online until he was 14. So he just started playing online.
Well, that's because you are a responsible parent. You have, and you have certain rules, I'm sure, in your home when it comes to internet safety. And we'll be discussing some of those internet safety protocols in a minute. But I am horrified to say that there are a lot of kids on the game that are unsupervised. And, all right, I'll tell you a little story. Now, my husband, John, his ex's son, so his ex's son is very close to John. John is his father figure, basically. So Jordan comes here and spends time with us, which is lovely. He's the most amazing little boy. We get him on weekends sometimes, and it's fantastic. And when John and I were courting, Jordan and I had to bond in some way. Excuse me. So I introduced him to the game, thinking, okay, he's only going to play with me. He's going to be supervised. He can only play on John's computer, And we had a whole talk about responsibility and online safety and everything with him. Now, whilst all this was happening, Jordan would spend a lot of time with me on the game. We would play, we would talk, we would have conversations. It was my way of getting to know him. We would sit and we would chat. He would tell me about school. He would tell me about, what was going on with his friends, if he was being bullied, different everyday things that a child would talk about. The thing is, when John and I got married, Jordan and I didn't play the game as much because I wasn't on the game as much. And Jordan's mom allowed him to play the game at home, but unsupervised. So one day, I was on his account because I wanted to surprise him with a tank. So I bought him one of those gold tanks, and I went on his account to accept it. And there was a private message from this guy whose name was GetSome74. Alright, that's a red flag for me. The message was basically, hey kid, I'm waiting for you. I missed the platoons or something like that. Something innocuous. But it set up a red flag for me. So I talked to Jordan, I talked to John, I talked to Jordan's mother, basically about him being unsupervised on the game, that he should not be. he shouldn't be allowed to play unless he is platooning with John or myself, things like that, right? But John and I can't keep an eye on him constantly because he doesn't live with us. Now, I messaged this guy, and I told him, I said, this is a 10-year-old kid, and we're not comfortable with you spending this type of time with him.
It's too faint.
Took away the headphones and stuff so he can't talk to anybody, but they're still typewritten messages. This guy created a different account in order to talk to Jordan. Now, we went through the safety tips with Jordan. We told him,
Hey, Matt, you there?
Never describe yourself. Don't tell anybody where you're from. Don't tell them your real name, what schools you go to, little things. They might ask little questions, and you think it's no big deal. You say John Adams High, and there are 15 different John Adams High in the world. But then you mention, oh, I went to the zoo, and they realize, and they narrow it down. They know where you're from. They know what school you're in. They know your name. They know your age. And after you talk to them for a few weeks, you feel like you know them. There's no longer the allure of stranger danger. And that's what's happening with the children today. They are getting desensitized to stranger danger because the internet is bringing these strangers into their home and they're becoming friends. This is a huge issue. Now, you didn't allow your kids online until your son was 14, where he can be somewhat unsupervised, but I'm sure you still have talks with him and safety rules, correct?
He's sitting right next to me every time he's online.
And there you go. And that's a beautiful thing. Now, there is this site called safekids.com, right? And it asks simple questions that we would take for granted. Basically, it's a quiz that you get your kids to take. It's an online safety quiz, and it's your chance to show that you know how to be safe on the internet, be a safe internet surfer. So you ask your kids to answer each question, and when they get it right, they'll go to the next question. And the questions are very, very straightforward. Question 1. I'm online and I meet someone my age in a chat room. Is it okay to give him or her my address or phone number so we can get together? Now, every
Am I
adult,
taking the quiz or is it?
well, we're going to discuss the questions. Every adult out there is going to instantly say, no, it's not okay to give your address or your phone number to somebody, right?
Is she hot?
Oh my God, Matt. He's been married for 24 years, ladies and gentlemen. 24 years of marital bliss. I will beat you myself, Matthew.
Yeah. I'm just kidding, you know.
I know. So, every adult out there is going to be like, no, it's not okay to give your address or your phone number out. But you see how this is worded? I'm online and I meet someone my age in a chat room. Now, most kids are going to take it at face value. They're going to believe whatever they're told. They're not going to think somebody's lying to them. The majority of children, if somebody says, I'm 10 years old, they're going to believe they're 10 years old. If that person's volunteering information, like, okay, so I'm 10 and I'm from St. Louis and I have a cat named Ginger and, that kind of stuff, then the kid is going to feel like, okay, this is a safe environment. This person's saying what they're saying. And there is some subtle peer pressure there for them to volunteer their own information or they get left out of the conversation. Now, if your child is in a chat room surfing for friends, someone to talk to, looking for attention, just general attention, we're not talking about negative attention here, then there is something wrong. I'm sorry, but I'm a little bit old school when it comes to this. I do not think that there should be chat rooms for children 12 years old, 10 years old, 13 years old. Children that age have school friends, they have clubs, they have activities, and if they are, for whatever reason, unable to make social connections in the quote-unquote real world, then making these online connections and linking up with other people, other children who feel like they've been socially ostracized can be very dangerous and it needs to be monitored. We need to have these talks with our children. Now, that's one issue that we need to deal with. So my answer to that question is no. Never give out your address or your phone number. And the online safety quiz comes up with a bright neon green page that says, right, you are correct. You should never give out your name or address to anyone you meet online. If you really want to have an offline conversation with that person, check with your parents to see if they can think of a safe way to arrange it. And, sometimes kids don't want to get their parents involved. Parents, you need to get involved, even if you have to be the bad guy, because we have heard of so many horror stories of pedophiles, of just people who are just out for no good, getting in contact with children. And, even if they don't meet with your child face to face, they can impact your child psychologically. So it's your responsibility to check up on that, to make sure that your child is safe. Now we need to break for commercial, and when we come back, we will be discussing more about safekids.com and keeping our children safe on the internet.
Are you looking for an amazing new read? Check out Carved in Stone by top-selling author Ken Spears. This fascinating supernatural thriller will have you on the edge of your seat with suspense. It will be hard to put down. Carved in Stone is a story like no other and is available now at Amazon.com in paperback as well as a Kindle edition. If you love reading supernatural thrillers, then this book is for you. Makes a great gift. That's Carved in Stone by Ken Spears. Grab it today.
Wait! Before you start doing your online shopping, go to couponmeup.com. Get thousands of coupons, discounts, and deals from thousands of leading online retail stores. couponmeup.com. You won't regret it.
You've browsed tons of hosting company websites, but none of them offer the perfect hosting package. It's either not enough or way too much. But that's where Hosting Strike can help. Hosting Strike offers custom hosting solutions. We'll discuss your needs, then we'll craft a hosting plan to meet your exact needs. So don't pay fees because you've exceeded your bandwidth allotment, and don't pay for services you won't use. Get a custom hosting solution at hostingstrike.com. That's www.hostingstrike.com. Mention promo 10OFF.
Celebrate yourself. Love Bean Designs is a grassroots Palo Alto-based company selling Love Bean brand clothing and accessories for women, men, kids, babies, and pets. Love Bean was originally started as the non-label, taking the label out of love. The fact of the matter is, everyone is a Love Bean because being a Love Bean is being human. Heather and Coco work on designing the concepts together, making the screens, and hand-printing each and every piece of awesome for our lovable fans. All of their products are made with love. They love being creative and want to share their passion for awesomeness with the world. From fun to sarcastic to nerdy, they love it all. What do you love being? Visit lovebean.com, LOVEBIAN.com, and enter the promo code GAMERS101 for a 25% discount.
Are you known in your city? Paint the Sky with Dreams is a project that needs you. Start a small fundraising tour and be rewarded. Collect a few dollars from each friend, and when you get at least $100, go to Donate to Paint the Sky with Dreams Fulfilled. The perk will be yours. And if you could give a little bit from your own pocket, your generosity would be greatly appreciated. Be a part of this campaign's success and win. Collect as much as you can. Every penny counts. Make the dream happen. Paint the Sky with Dreams Fulfilled.
Looking to shed that extra weight? Try Raspberry Ultra Drops with African mango and green tea. Lose 1 to 2 pounds daily permanently. No hunger pains while maintaining muscle tone and feel great. Raspberry Ultra Drops are 500 times more effective than capsules. It's made in the USA and FDA compliant, all natural and completely safe. So make Raspberry Ultra Drops your weight loss solution. Guaranteed results. Log on to www.raspberryultradrops.com www.shopslimberries.com and start your weight loss today. Attention all gamers. What is a silver bullet with your name on it such a bad thing? Now you can have your name or gamer tag engraved on your own personal silver bullet. Just go to silverbulletbullion.com and check out the actual .999 fine silver bullet replicas of your favorite bullet. Take your pick from the 22 LR, 9mm, 5.56 NATO, 45 ACP, 45 Long Colt, 7.62 NATO, 12 gauge shotgun shell, 50 BMG, and the 25mm shell. Just select your bullet and let us know what you want engraved on it. Visit our website at silverbulletbullion.com or like us on Facebook at Silver Bullet Bullion and get your personalized silver bullet today.
U.S. Metropolitan Taekwondo Tournament every year.
And welcome back to Talk Time with Val. I'm, of course, your host, Val, and we have with us Matt Hazley. Now, during the commercial break, Matt and I were discussing Taekwondo. You may have heard a little bit of that bleed through when we were coming back online on the air. And, Matt, would you like to tell us a little bit about that Taekwondo tournament?
Well, they have the school I help teach at is Chung Kim's Black Belt Academy in Bettendorf, Iowa, and every year they put on a Metropolitan Taekwondo tournament, and it's open to all types. So we get people that do Kuk Sowan, we get people that do Kung Fu. Every style. It's open to every style, and they do. There's 3 major competitions. They have forms, board breaking, and then sparring. It's Olympic point sparring. So.
And the great thing about these organizations and these schools, as Matt was rightly pointing out, is that if we can get our kids offline and socializing in activities and groups like that, it would be ideal to build their self-confidence, their ability to communicate, giving them something in common with the other children in their group. It gives them a sense of respect for other people as well as a sense of self-respect. And it builds in them the ability to socialize with people not just of their own age group, but other age groups in a supervised and safe environment. Right, Matt?
Correct. There's 5 tenets of Taekwondo that we call it. We got courtesy, integrity, self-control, perseverance, and indomitable spirit. And we, I help teach with what they call a Tigers class right now. I've been doing that for about 3 years now, and I really enjoy it. They're all younger kids. My son goes to the class too, which is nice because my older son, we worked all the way from white belt to black belt together, and I kept on going and went on and made my second degree. And I've been teaching ever since I made my first degree. So I've been doing it for about 3 years, and or actually over that. But my youngest is a blue belt now, and it's really neat to see him, progress along. But a lot of these kids, you see them, they come from, they're two kids. I just absolutely love them. I love them like my own kids, and I get all the way with all of them like that. Their father died. He was a farmer, and he was just driving, just getting ready to leave the field. And he's in his truck, dropped over dead in his truck, and he was in his early 40s or whatever. Just one of those sad cases. And they're just the nicest kids you've ever met. They have anxiety issues.
Right, and it brings us to that topic there. We have children who, of course, have lost a parent. They can't be supervised constantly. They don't have the same type of family dynamic. But other than that, we have children who cannot physically cope with those types of activities. Or if they can physically cope, they're not emotionally or mentally capable. Or it's not what they want to do. They're not physical creatures for sparring and fighting and these types of disciplines. For these children, we have other things that we can suggest to parents out there, right, Matt? Like, I believe one of your sons is in basketball.
Correct. Well, actually, both do it. My youngest one does dad's club basketball.
Right, and that's because you're a hands-on dad. You're a very active person, and you have learned this behavior, and you're teaching them this behavior. But for people who are from a family with a more sedentary lifestyle, you have tons of activities out there that your child can get involved with through the schools, through the community centers, or through organizations. For example, I know in St. Louis we have the Big Brothers, Big Sisters organizations. We have the Helping Friends organizations. And these are all great organizations that are geared towards giving children social experiences in a safe, productive environment that is supervised. Now, let's say, for example, your child is mathematically oriented, okay? Okay, so they like stuff like chess, board games, things like that. There are activity centers, supervised activity centers, that have these things on a competitive level, and it trains your child in the study that they enjoy. Say your child is more of a naturalistic person. They like the feel of the soil in their hands. They like gardening or farming. There are programs that help your child understand agriculture, help your child understand what is necessary for the soil and the growth and the feeding, and, basically nurtures that part, that aspect of them. No matter what your child is into, and you alone as a parent will have the best of ideas of what your child is into. And that takes a conversation and knowing your child. Just because your child is not a carbon copy of you does not mean that he is strange or different or needs to do exactly what you did growing up. No. It means that you need to now think outside the box and think to yourself, I have created an individual with a mind, a soul, and a body of his own. I cannot micromanage his every move. I cannot monitor his every waking hour. I do not speak through his mouth, and I do not hear through his ears. So let me listen to what he's saying and try to find something that suits his personality or her personality. Please talk to your children and find out why they feel the need to reach out to strangers. I mean, it's natural for children. Matt, I'm sure you had this done too, where your kids will just up and talk to some stranger in a grocery store or something for no reason.
Well, actually, my boys, no. My daughter, maybe, but my boys, they're like, if they don't know people, a lot of times they won't even talk to them.
I remember your son barely spoke to me the other day.
Yeah, that's the way he is. He's real timid, as you want to call it, quiet, and Taekwondo has brought, trying to bring a little bit more confidence out in him. But
okay, so your kids have their social groups. They have their people that they're comfortable with, and they don't feel comfortable in everyday environments to just talk randomly to people. Your daughter, you said maybe, and let's go with that. Girls especially are very social creatures. Now you have a lot of girls who aren't, and you have a lot of boys who are. So I don't want to, stereotype this as being a gender-assigned activity, but we do have the fact that females are typically a little bit more outgoing. Now, from personal experience, I'll say this. I have had attention all my life. I am a girl, right? I have long black curly hair. I'm curvy. I have a bright smile. I've always been active, and I'm flizzy by nature, right? I have a bubbly personality, and as a teenager, it would attract attention. Whether it was attention from people that I knew or didn't know, it was always attention, and it was fun. I will admit that, but it was also not safe all the time. I mean, I would go to a club with my cousins, my brothers. I came from a very close-knit family. I come from a very close-knit family. We typically would not go out with just our friends. We would always have a group of cousins who are around our age with us, because your family are your friends as well, right? And if I wanted to go to an activity with just my girlfriends and it wasn't a party at one of their houses, it was actually a club or something, I wasn't allowed to go unless one of my older brothers was with me, or an older cousin was with me, or at least 2 or 3 of them were with us. And even then, you attract attention, you have strange people coming up to talk to you, and it felt like you're being monitored constantly. I remember a time where I was about 15 years old, and there was this boy that I had a huge crush on. And when I say a crush on, it was like I would blush every time I heard his name. I wanted to talk to him, but I couldn't give him my phone number because if he called home and my daddy answered the phone and my brothers answered the phone, I would get
like when
in
you're
trouble.
talking to me.
Exactly. Shh, don't tell. So what would end up happening is, you find ways to talk to this person without your brothers embarrassing you or threatening to kill them, or your father finding out and giving you that one look.
So
that
you
could make
sneak around.
You sneak around, exactly. Now, I was safe in my sneaking around in that the way I did it was I passed a note to one of my girlfriends who would, who the boy that I liked happened to live very close to, and she would give the note to him. He would pass the note back through her, and when she came to school, she would give the note to me, because I went to an all-girls school, right? This was our method of communication. It seems harmless, right? But it breeds a spirit of mistrust. And that sneaking around, I got caught because there was one time where he really wanted to talk to me. So what he did was he talked to my best friend, had my best friend call home, and then he got on the phone to talk to me after. But my voice changed. I got all squeaky and I couldn't talk, and the phone was in the living room, in the family room, and my brother was like, oh, what's going on there? Because your body language changes. And he took the phone from me and said hello, and I was mortified, I was uncomfortable, I was 15 years old, and I felt like I'd just been caught having an extramarital affair of some kind. It was not a good thing.
Same situation kind of happened with my daughter one time, where she had the Google eyes over this one kid, and the kid was 19 and she was only 15, and I told her no. I said he's too old. I said the kid's an adult, he's legal, you're too young, and she just couldn't understand that. So she was going around kind of like behind my back. Well, little did she know I have AT&T Family Map, which shows exactly where she's at. So she had to do. So for a while there, I would check to see, making sure she was going exactly where she was going.
Right.
But she would tell me she's going to go somewhere, and I was worried that she was going to go somewhere else. But she was kind of going behind my back, talking to this kid. But I
wasn't brave enough to do that. I wasn't.
She was, and she told me, she goes, "What if he's the one?" I said, "Then you'll meet him when you're an adult." I said, "But you wait." Yeah. I said, because if he is this adamant about, about being with you at this age, he can wait. He's too old.
Well, we need to actually break for commercials right now, but when we get back in the next couple of minutes, we'll be discussing more about the online safety, because I do think it's essential, and I want to share with you another online story that happened very recently. So after these messages, please join us back for our next segment of Talk Time with Val.
Out of the blue, you see or meet the man or woman of your dreams. You both flirt. The attraction is obviously mutual. Now what? A big fat nothing, because you were both too shy to ask for contact details. Find and contact them again for free at BlueMyChance.com. That's right, BlueMyChance.com, where people meet again.
Still trying to find that next hot novel you can't put down? Well, pick up Chronicles of a Traveling Salesman by Wendy Renee. Welcome to the world of Gavin, a traveling salesman, charismatic and charming. Gavin is a self-described ordinary man with extraordinary experiences. Gavin takes opportunities presented to him in life and uses them to his advantage. Gavin keeps no secrets as he explores his sexuality and shares his most memorable experiences, ranging from the lonely housewife to the girl next door. Gavin has chronicled these steamy and erotic experiences for the world to read. So remember, pick up Chronicles of a Traveling Salesman at Amazon.com.
If you called me back.
Visit crafterstown.com, your website to buy and sell arts and crafts worldwide. At Crafterstown, you will find unique arts and crafts from around the world. We also have Grammy's Tips of the Day blog for shortcuts to crafting. Take a walk down Main Street at crafterstown.com.
I said, well, you know what?
Crown Military Miniatures celebrates this holiday season with an enormous selection of new and vintage collector quality toy soldiers. You have to see the photorealistic detail on the World War II armor or the sheer volume of the figures from the American Civil War to the Zulu Wars to the Jacobite Rebellion. If soldiers were there, Crown Military Miniatures has it covered in little men cast and pewter. Veterans, active duty personnel, and military enthusiasts, you have to check out Crown Military Miniatures. Visit them online at crowntoysoldiers.com or visit their store at 88 North Broadway in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire.
Hey, do you overcommit? Have a problem saying no to your kids, your boss, and your relatives? That just might be why you're feeling stressed and out of balance. Go to CherylSaysNo.com. That's SHERYL saysno.com. And learn for free 6 tips on how to say no without sounding passive or aggressive. Visit CherylSaysNo.com today.
Attention smokers, are you tired of sucking burnt tobacco deep into your lungs but love the flavor and experience of smoking? Introducing Firelight Fusion, the electronic cigarette that gives you everything you love about smoking while eliminating everything you don't like about smoking. Unlike other brands, you know exactly what's in Firelight Fusion e-cigarettes because everything is batch tested and their premium e-liquid is made and tested here in the USA. Unlike the Chinese knockoffs you see everywhere else. Experience excellence. Experience Firelight Fusion. Find us at firelight-fusion.com. Firelight-fusion.com.
It's freaking crazy hot at mobilewebsites.com. Everyone and their grandma is mobile. Get more mobile customers before your competition does. HotMobileWebsites.com will custom design an eye-popping mobile website, then throw in a free domain and hosting for 1 whole year. All done for you for only $259. That's right, $259. That's crazy and hot. Over 1,000 in savings. Never any setup fees or contracts. Go to hotmobilewebsites.com or call now, 877-220-5576. That's 877-220-5576. One more time, 877-220-5576.
Come join me, Matt Hazley, your host for Straight Talk, where we will take a journey into the deepest regions of your mind. Yeah, right. Nah, just kidding. Join me every Monday and Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, where every topic is fair game. Only on ARM Radio, home of the big guns.
And welcome back to Talk Time with Val. I'm your hostess, Val, and I would like to continue with what we were talking about. Now, for those of you who are newly joining, we were talking about online safety, safety for kids. We discussed psychologically the needs for kids to, find their own roots, find their own self, get their own personality and develop that. And we need to find some safe avenues outside of the internet. But for those parents who are looking for some internet safety tips and protocols, let's go to number 2. We have the first one, of course, was whether you should give your name, your address, or your phone number to someone in a chat line that you meet, chat room that you meet, even if you think that they're your own age. And we need to discuss with our kids that people online are not necessarily telling the truth. So it might be a 37-year-old man or a 52-year-old woman who's pretending to be a 10-year-old. There are some strange people out there. Now, I understand that we don't want to scare our kids and we don't want to have too many talks about the dangers and strangers, because that can map the child to view the world in a very cynical way, and it's something that we don't want to, we want to protect our kids from. So a simple conversation of, you know what, sometimes, some people, they don't have friends, and they might be 15 years old or 20 years old, and they pretend to be your age so that they can influence you and show you things and teach them that people are just, I know, at times not being truthful. Now, one of the stories I wanted to share. Okay. I was on TeamSpeak for this game that I like to play, World of Tanks. Excuse me. And I was in a clan. I actually left this clan because of inappropriate behavior. Now, TeamSpeak is a community-based, network, Matt? What do I call it? Software?
It's where you can have a large amount of people interact.
Right. And these people can get together, they can put a picture up, they can talk outside of the game so that, they don't have to press buttons and outside of what they're doing in their game in order to communicate. Now, I was on TeamSpeak and this kid joined. And at first we weren't sure if this kid was a man or a girl or a boy or what was going on. We didn't ask because we didn't want to pry, and we understand that there are safety issues. Eventually, after about 3 weeks of hanging out with us, this kid said that they were a girl. They were always in a room with the other kids because we had specific rooms set out for kids, and we knew that there was no swearing in those rooms. The rooms were monitored. It was age-appropriate conversations, right? And adults weren't allowed to just pop in except for the monitors who would pop in from now and again just to make sure that things were running smoothly. So I was one of those monitors.
Huh?
And
Yeah.
one day I popped in, and we had 3 young men in there with this young lady. Now, when I found out that it was a young lady, I popped in more frequently, of course, just to make sure, that she was safe and comfortable and nothing inappropriate was being said. Because you never know, now, I'm not trying to be distrustful, but you never know if it's a 19-year-old boy pretending to be a 12-year-old boy just to get a 13-year-old girl to do stuff for him. And that actually ended up being the case. But in reverse, this young lady later claimed, she claimed to be 13 at that time. She spent 2 months socializing with these young boys. They had quote-unquote their boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. And then in comes another individual who was 19. And now she was claiming to be 23. This was 2 months later. She said that she was pretending to be that age because it was easier to deal with young adults. I said, no, because you were in a relationship, and this is not right. If you're a 23-year-old and you're in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with a 13-year-old boy, there is something seriously wrong with that. And then she had a story about how, she just had a kid, so she just needed some attention. I'm like, it's not right. We won't have it. I banned her from the server. The 19-year-old took umbrage to this and somehow got some type of, power on there and decided that he would unban her. She would come on with a different name, and they would use these rooms to have cyber relations, if you know what I mean. I am not the police. I am not that child's mother. I can only express that this is something that I do not approve of. This is something that our clan didn't approve of. And we did not want that behavior happening in a TeamSpeak that was paid for by our clan. Do you understand what I'm saying, Matt? Matt?
I understand what you're saying.
Thank you, Flint. Now, another thing that happened was there was the reverse of that. We had a 13-year-old girl with 2 19-year-old boyfriends, 2. They both knew about each other, and I was like, okay, she's jail bait. Why are you hanging out with her? And they're like, well, we can't do this and that. And all I could say was, you know what? I'm not going to allow this in here. You're banned. If you want to talk to each other on MSN, you want to talk to each other on the phone, that's fine, that's not my business. But you cannot do it in front of my eyes because I will not be part and party to something that's illegal and immoral. Right? But my question was, where were the parents? We had one of those parents come on, quote-unquote parents, I will say, come on TeamSpeak and basically say about their 13-year-old son. He can cuss, he can talk. I have no problem with him being in a room with all the adults, And I said to him, I was like, sir, you might not have a problem with it, but I do. I am not a parent myself, but I wouldn't want my nephew or my niece in a room talking to a bunch of adults, and I don't want to have to censor myself just because there's a child in the room, or because I'm speaking to a bunch of adults about something that is really adult-oriented. He said, well, he doesn't care, his kid knows about all that stuff. And I said, but I do. I am not here to be made uncomfortable, to be made to babysit just because you want to park your child in front of the computer screen and forget that he exists. If I don't wish to have him in my room, I don't need to have him in my room. I don't need to have him there talking to me. And that's basically what it came down to. I ended up being mean and saying very specifically that, look, if you don't want to spend time with your child, why are you forcing me to spend time with your child, right? And it's not that I wanted to scar that child or make that child feel bad, but it was very simply that I as an adult and other people as adults on these games and interactions should not have to feel uncomfortable or displaced simply because parents out there are not monitoring their children properly. Now, you have one or two parents who will come on and be very strange, I guess, or different in their respect of how they raise their child and what their beliefs are. But I don't want to contribute to the corruption of a minor. You get what I'm saying, Flint?
Yes, I do.
So what's your take on that? And what would you do in that situation?
I myself, I don't have kids, but how are you going to watch them 24/7?
Well, you don't have to watch them 24/7, but for example, all right, let's say something as simple as your kid being online. If they have a digital picture of themselves, right, and someone online wants to see it, is it okay for them to send it to that person? What would you say?
I wouldn't, because for one, you don't know who it is, but
this is what was going on with these kids on this TeamSpeak. They were sending pictures back and forth. They, and we realized afterwards that the 13-year-old girl who claimed to be 23 and all this bacchanal was happening, she had fake pictures, right? And it's like you can't do anything about that. They want the attention. They're going to do that. Now, another thing that was happening is that they were giving out a lot of personal information back and forth. You had one girl, right, who was 13 with the two 19-year-old boyfriends, and those quote-unquote boyfriends would influence the entire group of kids. It was just a very corrupt dynamic. Now, I don't know about the rest of you adults out there, but I truly, truly believe that evil thrives when good men do nothing. If you sit still and you see something wrong occurring, something that can become pervasive in society, that can degrade our social, or forget moral, but our social aspects, something that tweaks against your ethical standing, then it is up to you as an individual to speak out and say something about it. I don't care what walk of life you're from. I don't care where you came from, where you're going, what you're doing. There must be some issue that you believe strongly in. And if there is one issue you believe strongly in, then I will urge you to please feel strongly about our future generations and our society that we're leaving to our children. Now, like I said, these kids, they're very, oh boy, they would come to me for every little thing. Mainly because I was the woman, I would be more patient with them. The guys would basically just, blow them off, right? I don't have time to deal with this, I don't want to deal with this, leave me alone. That's what the guys would say. So, I'm in the middle of talking to my best friend, and one of these kids come in and said, and they're like, they're saying, they're being mean to me, and I have to go and police the situation. And it's not my place. It's taking away from my gameplay, from my time, my relaxation. And I just basically had 45 minutes to relax before I had to get back to work. You know what I'm talking about? And you can tell them, don't worry about it. Just ignore them, mute them. But a kid doesn't want to hear that. And as a responsible adult, if a kid is very upset, you don't want to leave them alone there and crying. But it wasn't my responsibility. It was their parents' responsibility. So parents, this brings me to another one of the statements. Question 4 on the online safety quiz is, I'm in the middle of a chat session and someone says something really mean. Should I say something mean back? Should I ask them to apologize? Or 3, don't respond and tell an adult if it bothers me. Now, we want our kids to come and tell us. But let's be real. Which child, out of the hundreds of thousands of children out there, what percentage is actually going to come and say, well, this person said this to me, and this person said that to me, and this person said this wrong thing, and tell you about it? The majority of them are going to say something mean back, and then there are going to be those few who are going to ask them to apologize, and it's going to just, escalate and go through something even worse. So, you know how Matt said earlier that his son actually sits next to him while he's online? It might sound like a hassle to you parents out there, but it's necessary. Don't get your kids headphones, right? If they want to talk online, let everything that they're saying come through on the speakers. Sit next to them. You can read your book, or you can watch TV right there. But make sure that you have a sideline view on the computer screen. Make sure you can hear what they're saying and what's being said to them. Because fact is, you can't control what another person out there is going to say to your child and how it's going to affect your child in the long run. All you can do is do some damage control. And you can't do that if you're not paying attention. So please pay attention. That being said, we have to break for commercial right now because, of course, we have to pay the bills here. And I will see you back here in a couple of minutes on Talk Time with Val, where we will go through some more online safety for our kids out there. And hopefully we can get another friend of mine to come in and join us because I know he has some opinions on this. Alright, so I'll see you back right here in a couple of minutes after these advertisements.
Glastic water bottle, a shatterproof glass water bottle. It's great for any liquid because everything tastes best in glass. A leak-proof lid you can close and toss on the couch without worry. Chances are it won't ever break, but if it does, no worries. The glass is safely contained inside a protective outer shell so you won't have a dangerous mess to clean up. You can safely remove the broken glass and get replacements. Go to GlasticWaterBottle.com to get your very own Glastic bottle today. That's GlasticWaterBottle.com. GLASSTIC waterbottle.com. What are you waiting for?
The Grand Hotel. Lewis's successful life is deceiving. His wife Pearl is still haunted by the sins of her youth. Yet something strange is brewing at the Grand Isle Gala. Suddenly, rivals' desire for power takes an ugly turn. Discover what will happen amidst the glamour and glitter of the annual gala, where a night of crime and seething passion ignite and explode. The Grand Hotel by author J.A. Jackson. Available exclusively at Amazon.com and Kindle Store.
Come on, son.
IntroAsian.com
You're
is
such
a
a
free
sweet girl.
video Asian chat room.
Yes, you are.
Chat with other Asians
You're
for
such a
free
sweet girl.
via your webcam. Go to
You're such a good girl.
introasian.com. IntroAsian.com. Try it today.
This is Kimmy Pops, and you're listening to Arms Radio, home of the big guns.
Are your kids running around naked? Stop that! Before Children's Protective Services take them away, run to mosquito.com. That's MISCITO.com. You'll find quality t-shirts for children between 4 and 12. Our timeless trends can be passed on through generations. And our quality materials stop them from destroying their clothes no matter how hard they try. Enough with the throwaway clothes. Mosquito lasts forever. Visit MISCITO.com. MISCITO.com.
Do you love film? Do you want to star in one this summer? Check out orangeleaffilms.com, an indie film company made for making moments last. This summer, Orange Leaf Films' new film, Sin, a story of a modern take on the 7 deadly sins, is coming soon. To learn more about being in the film or helping the production crew, go to orangeleaffilms.com for more details.
You've seen the commercial. Some guy or gal is getting their job done right. The announcer says, "You are a business pro," as they pull away smiling in the rental car of their dreams. Well, my friend, you are a gamer, and maybe even a pro at it. But you are probably also another kind of pro, a persuasion professional, a salesperson, manager, or customer rep who makes a living influencing the thoughts, actions, or performance of other people. Come to our website, persuasionpros.com, and see how we can up your game as a persuasion professional. We are at persuasionpros.com. That is persuasionpros.com, and up your game.
What happens when an Air Force fighter pilot turned geneticist speculates on the future? Great sci-fi. The product of a 23rd century experiment gone haywire. Adam Coop is an elegant 7-footer human in appearance, but having the strength of 4 men, the mind of an Einstein, and the scruples of a killer. Coop is the first cuff man, leading his fellow hybrids to dominance of an entire planet. Light years away on planet Earth, Jonathan Fells is a dropout with a rap sheet for illegal prospecting. Fells joins the Marine Corps and qualifies for a surgical upgrade that provides exceptional strength, cat-like reflexes, and a cerebral computer interface. When Coop and his hordes attack a colonized moon, Fells and his cybernetic marines deploy to rescue a cult of human females. Earth's future hangs in the balance. Available for immediate download via Amazon.com. By Cuffman. That's QUF-man on Amazon today.
And welcome back to Talk Time with Val. I'm your hostess, Val, and of course we have joining us Matt Hazley. Hi, Matt.
What's up, Val?
Well, before the break, we were talking about tips on safety. Now, I can't bring to mind, like, I can't press this into your mind more strongly. I guess I can't find the words right now because I'm bothered by this topic, but please, 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 please talk to your children about safety on the internet. Now, you know, you think, for example, that simple questions that I've been asking, that your kids would automatically know what to do, common sense and whatnot, because these people are strangers, right? Well, no, wrong. You see, Matt and I, for example, we've never met in person, have we, Matt?
Nope.
And yet we talk. We talk on here. We talk on the phone. We interact because of the work, right?
Correct.
And we've developed a friendship, but we're two grown adults, and so I know details about Matt's family and his kids, and he knows details about my family, and we swap recipes, and we chat, and we feel safe.
Wait a minute.
I
haven't got any
talk
recipes.
about food, and Matt slobbers, let's put it that way. I'll write them down
Somebody
for you.
told me they're going to give me recipes, but I haven't got them yet.
I've been typing them up. I will send them to you tomorrow, I promise.
That must be the slowest word processing unit I've ever seen.
So getting back to my topic at hand, because you see, and we fight and we bicker just like friends do, right? We tease each other. And this, you know what, we're two grown adults who know the dangers of the internet. We're both married people. We have families and we have responsibilities and work lives, and we still communicate and feel like we really know each other. In fact, so much so that if Matt was to say, you know what, he's going to be down in St. Louis sometime soon, I would invite him over to have dinner with my husband and I.
Ooh, I got to make it down to St. Louis.
Well, you see what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like we preach these things to our children, and yet we don't practice them ourselves at times. And it's not fair, but it is to a certain extent. We as adults, we take responsibility for our actions. We know the dangers, and we have what is called risk assessment. We can utilize our common sense or our intellect and, do a background search, a check, find out more about these people. And experience have taught us that, we get a vibe from people we can trust or we like and we dislike and things like that. Children are more vulnerable. Me, yes, I'm a woman. But you know what? I have a 6'8" tall protective husband to back me up if somebody were to come over here and, something was going to happen. Your child does not have that safety. They don't have the wisdom of the years. They don't have that knowledge, and they don't have the capability to differentiate sometimes when somebody is being false to them. So I'm going to give you some tips on the basics of internet safety. Children use a variety of online services, and each of these services can have different safety concerns. However, there are some basic tips which you can employ no matter how your children use the internet. Keep the computer in a high-traffic area of your home, just like I was telling you before. Because like Matt and I were discussing, where his daughter was sneaking around, and me as a teenage girl, I felt the need to hide and talk to a boy. Your kids might feel the need to hide and speak with somebody, to sneak around simply because they don't feel like you're going to approve of this conversation. They feel like, they'll get in trouble for it. And it's true. They probably would. So they're going to sneak. Children are going to be sneaky. We've all done it. You need to establish limits for which online sites children may visit and for how long. So you need to know what sites your child is visiting. You need to know what those sites link to, what type of pop-ups come up for some of those sites. You need to have some kind of nanny engine on your browsers so that whatever your child is searching for, there's safety precautions. For example, they could be searching for something as innocuous as cock soup. I'm sorry. That's something in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean in general. Cock means male rooster. Well, rooster is male, but male chicken, rooster. And cock soup is just soup because hens are valuable. People don't want to use the hens.
In the U.S., I've never heard that term.
Well, go look it up. Go Google.
Well, I believe
search cock soup.
But this is not Trinidad. So here in the United States, they should not be looking that soup up.
Well, I'm just saying, okay?
Sorry, but there's no... I've never gone to Panera and walked in there and go, I'll have the You know,
cock soup, the Jamaican cock soup, the
chicken
Grace or the
panini
Maggie
with a bowl
cock
of
soup.
cock soup. No, I'm sorry.
You know what? I'll tell you something. No, cock soup is actually the best soup because it has pumpkin and it has yam and arrows and dashing, and the flavor is really, really different from just a generic hen. Cock soup is typically a yard fowl, okay? Something free range. That's what we call yard fowl. It's not something that's cooked up and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's foul, all right. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not having that soup. I couldn't break down and order it.
Oh my God. Anyway.
It just sounds bad. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
It does. But okay, there are other innocuous phrases,
Joe just
I'm sure.
poked me with a type of soup that he thought, but I'm not telling you that soup.
Okay. Wow. All right. So, okay, we have cock soup, but you also have other things that children may innocuously, type into a Google search engine.
Well, it's not hard to type in something and
something else pops up. Something that is sexually oriented or adult oriented, something that is not geared towards your child's mind, something that they should not be exposed to. So please have some type of nanny, some type of internet nanny on your computer if you can't be there constantly supervising them. And Flint is right when he said that you can't keep an eye on your kids 24/7. Now, if you establish limits for the sites that your children may visit and you give them a time frame, for example, you say, okay, you can go on Disney Chat, but and you can play the Disney interactive games, but you have 45 minutes, right? Do you know that there are programs that will automatically shut off the browser and the game after that 45 minutes is up?
oh yeah, they got them now to where they'll really control these new I don't know what you call them to keep to
program.
Well, it's not just necessarily a program, but it's one for when they're it's like not a firewall, but it's these browser restrictors or whatever. We have one at work that it's a firewall or whatever, designed it for wherever they browse. Well, I was browsing the first tee of the Quad Cities, which is it's a children's organization, but it's for teaching them how to golf. And it blocked it, and it said child pornography. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This is a national organization called the First Tee. And I was like, some of these are very restrictive, which is good. But, yeah, I mean, the bad part about leaving your browser totally open, and I found it, and I have chewed out my 14-year-old, but this has been a while back, they install anything that they get. Any pop-up they get it. They say, oh, install this. Okay, do this. They don't realize it. And then you'll have 7 open, Google toolbars and Yahoo toolbars and, every MSN toolbar, every toolbar that you can imagine.
You get upset with your 14-year-old for doing that. I have done that so many times. And my brother, thank God, remote services my computer. He has to constantly clean all that crap off because I do the same thing because I'm not as internet savvy as I should have been. Well, at least I was not as internet savvy as I should be,
Well, most people sit there and they go look at it and they say, oh, okay. Oh, okay.
No, well, I won't install a bunch of stuff, but sometimes it can sneakily install itself, like you're reading it to see what it is. The minute you click on something, it just downloads and installs. It's ridiculous. Anyway, aside from that, right, we have to remember that internet technology can be mobile. So you have to make sure to monitor cell phones, gaming devices, and laptops. Now, we all know laptops, yes. It's the same thing as a computer, it's just mobile. But, I mean, every kid out there wants a phone or they want some kind of gaming device or an iPod or whatever it is, right? And parents tend to fold with pressure and it's a new world and they tend to give their kids what they never had. They want to give their kids what they never had. But in doing this, you're allowing a lot of outside influences into your child's life that you're not monitoring. So get a net nanny for their devices as well. Okay? It's really essential because you don't want your child searching for something as innocuous as cock soup and then coming up with a bunch of pornographic photos. Yes, I'm going to stick with my cock soup analogy because I am still an island girl, and I will still, continue to talk about the islands, which, by the way, has nothing to do with the topic we're talking about tonight. But for all my peeps in Trinidad and Tobago, I want to tell you, I am missing Carnival so bad, and I wish I was there with you guys. Boy, it's making me sick right now just thinking about all the bacchanal and fun and knowing that I just missed out Mocha Sunday, right? I missed out Carnival Monday, and now Pretty Mass today. I can't wait to see the videos. So for all of you out there, I hope you're having a safe, fun time. And when you're winding and you're grinding, just be thinking, Val, missing you. Okay, let's get back to the topic at hand. And what we need to do is surf the internet with our children and let them show us what they like to do online. So it's not difficult to do. Children love the attention. If you were to go to your 10-year-old...
Most of the kids will not show you where they're actually going when you're away from them.
Oh,
so
I
what I like
understand
to
that.
do is always check the internet browser. You can check the history.
I won't name names here, but a certain young man that I know, he's very savvy. At 9 years old, or was it at 8 years old? I believe he was 8, almost 9 years old. And one of his friends from school has an older brother who showed him pornography. And then that friend came and told everybody else and taught them how to go on lesbian websites so they could see women-on-women action. Well, this young man also taught his younger brother, and by proxy his brother's friends, how to clear the internet browsing history.
Yes, but you know what? I'm also a techie.
Well, that's you. Most parents aren't out there, which is why the nanny net nanny thing is a really basic and good way to go, right?
Yeah, the most people don't know how to clear it, but I know how to go in and find out where they've been. I can go beyond that. I talked to a gentleman who does this for a living. He goes through and fixes people's computers, and he works, well, he was telling me a story, and I won't name names because I don't want to name any, get anybody to find out who it was, but, and no, he doesn't work with me or anything like that, but this is through conversation, that his son, or his computer was all messed up or whatever, or it was his son, so he worked on this guy's son's computer, and, well, he found out it was riddled with porn. Well, through talking with him, he says, you might want to talk to your son about, what sites he's been going to, but he didn't bother telling him that most of them all were gay porn. So he didn't know that this kid was surfing porn, and then now he's going to find out that his son is actually gay, and he doesn't know that. So he really hasn't been paying attention.
And this is why we can't leave it to when the child becomes 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 years old. We need to start educating our children from 6, 7, 8 years old so that they know that when they're going online and they're looking at something, that's a whole issue by itself there, right? And personally, I feel bad for that young man that he feels like he has to hide his sexuality from his parents. I honestly, truly believe that whatever your sexual orientation...
He may not be hiding it at all, just his parents don't see it.
Right.
They're blind to it or whatever. Because, there's situations where you see somebody and the parents just totally overlook it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I understand what you're saying.
But, I don't care if that's what somebody, if that's their lifestyle or whatever they are, I don't care.
It's their choice.
It's not me, it's not me to change them.
But it brings us to another topic. It brings us to the topic of if there are children out there who feel like they are different in whatever way, whether it's a sexual orientation or a fetish that they might be developing, they may seek out communities online to talk to. So we will be discussing that when we return after these commercial breaks, because of course we do need to pay the bills. More on that when we return to Talk Time with Val.
Somebody true.
Attention smokers, are you tired of sucking burnt tobacco deep into your lungs but love the flavor and experience of smoking? Introducing Firelight Fusion, the electronic cigarette that gives you everything you love about smoking while eliminating everything you don't like about smoking. Unlike other brands, you know exactly what's in Firelight Fusion e-cigarettes because everything is batch tested and their premium e-liquid is made and tested here in the USA. Unlike the Chinese knockoffs you see everywhere else. Experience excellence. Experience Firelight Fusion. Find us at firelight-fusion.com. Firelight-fusion.com.
IntroAsian.com is a free video Asian chat room. Chat with other Asians for free via your webcam. Go to introasian.com. IntroAsian.com. Try it today.
This is Kimmy Pops, and you're listening to Arms Radio, home of the big guns.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand-new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Tune in weekly to Living and Thriving with Rusty McDonald. Inspiration on tap. A radio talk show that is down to earth, organic, and reflects years of experience and humility. Tune in and join Rusty McDonald as she explores topics related to mind, body, and soul. Visit her website for more information, www.rustymcdonald.com.
Whew, nice shooting. Hey, that's a sweet AK-47 chest rig. Is that multicam?
Yep, got it from StrikeHardGear.com.
Strike what?
StrikeHardGear.com.
Set your sights on StrikeHardGear.com. Tough, tactical gear for your Soviet-style weapon that's made in the USA. Affordable, plus a no-questions-asked 30-day money-back guarantee and lifetime replacement warranty. StrikeHardGear.com. Go ahead. Pull the trigger.
VOX Mobile has an app that gives you a second phone line, second voicemail, and low-cost calling, so you no longer have to buy unlimited minutes from your mobile phone service provider. The VOX Mobile app has free texting and free video calls to other subscribers. But get this, VOX has phone numbers from 57 countries. You can download a foreign phone number from your home, or download a phone number from your home country when you're away. Then when people in that country call you, they get the cost of a local call, even when your mobile phone is overseas. And VOX gives you unlimited inbound calls for only $9.95 a month. Check out VOX Mobile on Google Play or on iTunes. That's VOX Mobile. It's under the mobile VoIP apps, or just search for VoIP. VOX is the only carrier with all these features on its app. Visit the website, voxcorp.net.
From the author of the acclaimed martial arts fantasy novel, Dream of the Dragon Pool, Albert Dahlia's latest book, Listening to Rain, begins a new series of martial arts fantasy. Listening to Rain is a Game of Thrones-like series set in medieval China, where swordsmen and women are involved in occult powers, mystery, romance, and adventure. Experience a Chinese empire unlike anything you've ever imagined. Listening to Rain is now available on Amazon.com. For more information, visit www.wanderingblade.com.
Do that for you. Help you, help you.
And welcome back to Talk Time with Val. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Val, of course. And, you came in again and you heard us chatting. Well, Matt and I, we talk a lot, so I apologize for that. Now, getting back to the issues at hand, before we left, We were talking about children who feel socially displaced in some way or emotionally displaced in some way, and therefore turn to avenues outside of the home in order to explore or express themselves. And of course, being online, and there is anonymity, and there's some safety in that anonymity. And what ends up happening is that your children will surf the internet, excuse me, and sometimes they will go to sites that you do not approve of, or chat rooms that you know nothing about, simply to answer questions that they have. But that's a whole different show right there. And for that show, we will need to have some type of therapist or psychologist on hand to answer any call-in questions that you might have. So I don't really want to touch on that too much right now, except to say that if you sense that your child has some type of social issue, some type of social anxiety, that there is something in them that is making them withdraw from you, and you feel like they're hiding something, and you as a parent, you will know. Most parents out there are good parents. Most parents out there, you love your children, you want what's best for your children, you pay attention, at least so much so that you will recognize that your child's behavior has changed. If you recognize that your child's behavior has changed and you know that there's some burning, pressing issue that they're not discussing with you, find a safe avenue for them to either open up, one, with you, or two, with a group or organization that is there to help. I'm not saying send your child to a counselor or a therapist or something like that. I am saying find out from them what sports activity, what extracurricular activity they'd want to do. Join them with a group and get them some people that they can feel comfortable with talking to. Some people who you feel comfortable with them speaking with as well. Now, excuse me, what we were talking about before that was surfing the internet with your children so that they can show you what they like to do online. My little niece, Edie, is just, she's brilliant. I mean, seriously, this is not me bragging. This child is the epitome of grace, beauty, charm, and talent, okay? She can sing, she can dance, she pretty much does everything she can do. She goes on a national stage and does all of this. She wins competitions in school. She's just fantastic. Good thing about her being so open and gregarious is no matter what she's into, she does not feel like she has to hide it. She will come and say, oh, look, and she'll show you something that will shock you. But you know what? At least she's sharing, and you can have an open discussion with her about it. And some children are not that gregarious. Some children will hide and do their own thing. It's up to you to know your child and take an interest. And if you need to go slow, then go slow. But make sure that you develop that trust with your child so they can show you what they're doing. Now this one here, this one is very important. At the start of this show tonight, I was telling you about Jordan and how this guy on World of Tanks, whose name was GetSome74, decided to contact a 10-year-old boy and try to influence him in whatever way. You need to, and this may sound like an invasion of privacy, but I'm sorry, when it comes to online, I personally feel like there is limited privacy for a child online. So if your child has a gaming account, go into the account. Please. Learn who their friends are. Ask them questions. It might make them uncomfortable and it might make you the bad guy, but you know what? It will save them a lot of grief in the long run in case there's something bad happening. Matt Flint, do you agree with me or do you think I'm wrong?
No, I think you need to keep an eye on it.
Absolutely.
Now, your child might get pissy. They might stomp their feet, slam their doors, whatever. I really don't give a flying leapfrog, okay? That's a child. You're an adult. It's up to you to monitor it. Now, You have some people on here who will prey on children simply because they need to stroke their own egos. And it won't go further than that. It won't go further than them wanting your child to basically give them adulation, saying that they're the best and, oh, they're so fantastic, they can play this and they can do this and they can teach them this and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? There are some people out there who will want children around simply so that they can stroke their ego and they have young minds. And they're not out for nefarious purposes. But you know what? It becomes nefarious in that your child is now forming a bond with an adult that you do not know, and that adult has influence over your child. You don't know what that adult does in their day-to-day life, and it might not be nefarious, like I said, but they might have different beliefs than yours. They might have a different idea of right and wrong from you. And simply by interacting with your child, you know that old saying, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are? It is very, very true. Before I met certain people that will remain unnamed, I thought that saying certain words, like simply the word ass, was a horrible thing. I couldn't say hell. I had to say H-E-double hockey sticks.
But isn't Trinidad, isn't that a thing that carries rice or baggage on each side? But,
But I couldn't even say it because I always thought that, it's like I just couldn't, even though I knew that it was an animal, right? I just simply felt like it was just wrong, I would say oh poo or shucks instead of S-H-I-T. I still have issues sometimes saying certain bad words, right? And after having met certain servicemen who have given a lot for this country, this great country of ours, and spending time with them over the last couple of years, I now have a mouth that could vie for position on one of those U-boats, I guess. The U-boat, is that what it's called? Submarine? I could be in the Navy, okay? Let's put it that way. And I don't like it sometimes, but it's true. There are different things that will influence you, and the way your friends are, what they're adventurous in, how they speak, how they act, how they treat other people. Depending on how strong your personality is, I can influence my friends to be kinder, gentler, to cook more instead of buying takeout, stuff like that. Them with their language can influence me in my speech patterns simply because I feel self-conscious about my speech patterns. I'm told at times that I use words that are a little bit big, or that I may sound quote-unquote British because of my proper enunciation or pronunciation, and something that I feel like I'm self-conscious about. So I want to fit in as a grown adult, a married woman. I still want to fit in, so I try to talk like the rest of the American people around me. It does not work out well sometimes. So if me, as a strong, vibrant woman, can feel this pressure, this subconscious pressure, and adapt and change, what do you think will happen to your child when your child is out there amongst these influences?
Well, they try to talk like them. The perfect example is how people try to emulate who they see is, take a look at half these young kids as they walk down the street with their pants hanging below
Oh my God, I knew you were going there.
And the thing about it is, I'm saying, what did they do years ago? I don't know if you're old enough to remember, there was a band called Crisscross, and they wore their pants backwards.
Right.
And one of them actually died earlier, actually in 2013, last year, overdosed. But
really? Which one?
You look at those kids, people were wearing their pants backwards because they saw that. What was that started from? A lot of people think, oh, these rappers started it to look cool.
Can I say?
No. Oh, can you say?
You?
Yeah, you could say
Yeah.
that. But what I'm talking about is they automatically go to emulate that. They look to follow that because
knowing where it came from.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and you're right. They don't know
Well, where did it come from?
From jail. It was
Correct.
a way for a guy to show that he was available for sexual intercourse or satisfaction by another male who was dominant enough to protect him. So he would lower his pants to show his submission and his availability. So for all you young men out there who think that wearing your pants halfway down your butt is cool, well, all you're showing is that you are submissive and that you're available for penetration,
Well,
literally.
But they don't understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because they see somebody else doing it. And a guy, his pants were hanging so low. Why did he even have them on? It was ridiculous. I know they have, a belt. There's something that's tied up around their waist to hold them up. But
Right.
I don't understand the purpose of it. Whatever. It's to their style. But if they're coming into a business dressed like that,
Did I ever tell you about the Schnucks grocery guy?
Well, let me tell you one story about. We went into it's a place that has all these bounce houses. It's just a kid's place. You bring your kids. They go through these bounce houses, and it's Jumpin' Joey's. It's called. It's like you're huge bounce houses, and these slides and everything. They go up. Well, this guy's standing in there, and there's people around, kids everywhere, and he's got the profanity F word right across his neck in giant letters. It's got to be at least 3 inches tall. It's unbelievable how big it is. And I'm like, how can you not tell him to cover that? It'd be like him standing there with that T-shirt on. Would you let him wear that? No.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's another topic that I actually wanted to discuss. Tattoo art. It's seen as part of your skin, your personal body, and a lot of places will not risk their customers' eyes by asking them to cover it up. For example, teardrops and bobs across fingers, things like that. Things
A lot
that
of
are
people don't realize
jailhouse tats.
teardrops, what they're from.
Yes,
Teardrops is
person
being
you killed.
Well, no, teardrops has also been time that you've served. That's what teardrops have to be. Teardrops is you've done different stints in prison.
I thought you only earn a teardrop. I saw a documentary that said that, and this was actually part of a psychological thesis as well, that said that a teardrop is earned in the American penal system when an individual in a gang or a unit kills another individual outside of that gang or unit. Once they've taken a life, someone that's significant or a significant threat to their own gang or unit, they get that teardrop as a badge of honor.
I will have to do a little more research on that, but I have always thought it was done for stints in prison.
You might be right. I might be completely wrong. I got my information from TV. How reliable can TV be sometimes?
there are some right now. There's some good programs that are going on about, jailhouse, and they actually did. I worked in San Antonio. I worked in the Bear County Jail there for a while, and that jail is like a small city. It's 7 floors tall, and there are 3 different towers, and there's 4. Let me see. I think there's 4 units in each tower, and on each, and you got each floor. So it's really big.
Okay, so you and I will be talking about that more because I want to tell you about that documentary, but I'll be off the air. Now, before we go to break, I have one last tip for our parents there to get back to the topic on being net smart, right? My last tip about how to keep your children safe is continually dialogue with your children about online safety. You and you alone can keep that dialogue open. Your child is not going to come to you and want to talk about stuff that they think is just a waste of time or heavy or a drag or whatever it is. I know I'm using 60s lingo, okay? Don't age me. But your child is not going to come to you. It's up to you as the parent to go to your child and keep that dialogue open. A great way to do that is to set aside family time once a week where you have a family meeting, and that family meeting is stuff that you can discuss everything that's going on at school, blah, 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 in their life, and that's fine. And a lot of parents and families are doing that. But you also need to set aside another day during the week where you have half an hour of what you call reminders. It will become a rote to your children. You have a list of information, maybe this stranger danger talk or, online safety or whatever it is, gun safety. Make a list, have your children learn it. And if you do it every single week, a half an hour class where you repeat the same thing over and over, your child will make fun, yes, and they will say it while you're saying it. But you know what? That's a good thing because it means they remember it and they know what it is. Now, when we come back from this commercial break, I will give you some discussion starters, some ideas on topics on how to start a discussion with your child about this very important topic, online safety. All this and more when we return to our last segment of Talk Time with Val.
Are you looking for an amazing new read? Check out Carved in Stone by top-selling author Ken Spears. This fascinating supernatural thriller will have you on the edge of your seat with suspense. It will be hard to put down. Carved in Stone is a story like no other and is available now at Amazon.com in paperback as well as a Kindle edition. If you love reading supernatural thrillers, then this book is for you. Makes a great gift. That's Carved in Stone by Ken Spears. Grab it today.
Wait! Before you start doing your online shopping, go to couponmeup.com. Get thousands of coupons, discounts, and deals from thousands of leading online retail stores. couponmeup.com. You won't regret it.
You've browsed tons of hosting company websites, but none of them offer the perfect hosting package. It's either not enough or way too much. But that's where Hosting Strike can help. Hosting Strike offers custom hosting solutions. We'll discuss your needs, then we'll craft a hosting plan to meet your exact needs. So don't pay fees because you've exceeded your bandwidth allotment, and don't pay for services you won't use. Get a custom hosting solution at hostingstrike.com. That's www.hostingstrike.com. Mention promo 10 off.
Celebrate yourself. Love Bean Designs is a grassroots Palo Alto-based company selling Love Bean brand clothing and accessories for women, men, kids, babies, and pets. Love Bean was originally started as the non-label, taking the label out of love. The fact of the matter is, everyone is a Love Bean because being a Love Bean is being human. Heather and Coco work on designing the concepts together, making the screens, and hand-printing each and every piece of awesome for our lovable fans. All of their products are made with love. They love being creative and want to share their passion for awesomeness with the world. From fun to sarcastic to nerdy, they love it all. What do you love being? Visit lovebean.com, LOVEBIAN.com, and enter the promo code GAMERS101 for a 25% discount.
Are you known in your city? Paint the Sky with Dreams is a project that needs you. Start a small fundraising tour and be rewarded. Collect a few dollars from each friend, and when you get at least $100, go to Donate to Paint the Sky with Dreams Fulfilled. The purse will be yours. And if you could give a little bit from your own pocket, your generosity would be greatly appreciated. Be a part of this campaign's success and win. Collect as much as you can. Every penny counts. Make the dream happen. Paint the Sky with Dreams Fulfilled.
Looking to shed that extra weight? Try Raspberry Ultra Drops with African mango and green tea. Lose 1 to 2 pounds daily permanently. No hunger pains while maintaining muscle tone and feel great. Raspberry Ultra Drops are 500 times more effective than capsules. It's made in the USA and FDA compliant, all natural and completely safe. So make Raspberry Ultra Drops your weight loss solution. Guaranteed results. Log on to www.shopslimberries.com and start your weight loss today. Attention all gamers. When is a silver bullet with your name on it such a bad thing? Now you can have your name, or gamer tag engraved on your own personal silver bullet. Just go to silverbulletbullion.com and check out the actual .999 fine silver bullet replicas of your favorite bullet. Take your pick from the 22 LR, 9mm, 5.56 NATO, 45 ACP, 45 Long Colt, 7.62 NATO, 12 gauge shotgun shell, 50 BMG, and a 25mm shell. Just select your bullet and let us know what you want engraved on it. Visit our website at silverbulletbullion.com or like us on Facebook at Silver Bullet Bullion and get your personalized silver bullet today.
And welcome back to Talk Time with Val. I'm your hostess, Val, and before we went to break, I said that when we came back, I would give you some discussion starters, because we've been talking about, well, we've been rambling about lots of things tonight, but the main topic has been safety, online safety, becoming net smart, and getting your kids to adopt these online safety protocols. Now, just a quick recap. I said keep the computer in a high-traffic area of your home, establish limits for which online sites your children may visit and for how long they can visit that. And I was touching on that, and I said that there are applications out there that will limit your child. If you want to set 45 minutes, after 45 minutes it will close the game, the program, and they can't get back on it. Well, another thing that does is it doesn't make you the bad guy. It's a preset limit, and you don't have to go yell at your kid, get off the computer and go outside, or get off the computer and go do this or that. No, because the computer does it for you. So I find that it's a good management tool for parents to use to stop any bickering and fighting or any childhood resentment or any resentment your child may have for you cutting into their fun. Now, excuse me, remember that internet technology can be mobile. So make sure to monitor cell phones, gaming devices, and laptops, right? We covered that. We also covered surf the internet with your children. Let them show you what they like to do online. Get a net nanny. Know who is connecting with your children online and set rules for social networking, instant messaging, email, online gaming, and using webcams. This is essential. You need to parent your child, not be a friend to your child. So you need to know who they're friends with, who they're talking to, who is impacting your child. You need to set some rules about emails. You need to know what your children's passwords are. You need to go on there and check those accounts every now and then, because you never know what's going to be sent. And children are smart. They're going to delete stuff. So you can't do a search every week at the same time. Random searches is where it's at. Now, that being said, I hate advocating for, basically violating your child's privacy. But that being said, it is my belief that children have privacy. I almost said privacy. Children have privacy insofar as they earn it, right? And it starts off with open privacy, and then it goes from there as they get older. So, let me give you some ideas. Now, the last tip I gave you was continually dialogue with your children about online safety. And in order to do this, you need some discussion starters. So, here are some clues, some ideas about how to start a discussion with your child. These are questions that you can apply to these conversations. You ask your child, what are your favorite things to do online? Now, I know when I'm talking to Jordan, his favorite thing to do is play games. Doesn't matter what kind of game. It could be a card game, it could be an interactive shoot-'em-up game, it can be a physics game. So what I did was I got him involved with games like Scrabble, things that will develop his vocabulary, his social skills, basically, I think. And I got him a game, a physics game. And it's basically, there's a ball and there are lines, and the ball moves around the page, and you have to build things with these lines so that you can get the ball from one section to another. You have to solve different physics equations, but it's done for children under the age of 10. And it kind of just develops their linear structure, the linearical thought pattern, so it structures their mind and gives them a boost when it comes to math and physics and music. It actually helps with music as well. Now, also another discussion starter. What is personal information? You need to define what personal information is, and that includes your child's name, their sex, their location, their age, what schools they go to, their best friend's name, their dog's name, your name, how many siblings they have, what, they passed a tree crop high up on the highway, what highway it is, different locations close to your home. They mentioned going to a Pizza Hut. They might say, well, I went to the Pizza Hut on the corner of 1 and 2 Street. And it gives away location. So, just make sure that they know what you classify as personal information, and please give that some thought. And then inform them as to why they should keep it private, right? If there is an individual online that they want to talk to, that they feel comfortable with, then tell them the only way that they're going to be able to develop that friendship is if you meet that person, you talk to that person, and you know what information they're sharing. You have to be comfortable as a parent with that individual before your child can interact with them on a deeper level. Do you agree, Matt and Flint?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Sir.
Well, in the Army, that's what they do. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. You call your commanding officer sir. I don't mind. Means I'm in charge. Okay.
That's right. I know how that is.
All right. So, now another discussion starter. What could you do to be safer online? Don't tell them what to do. In fact, this one, I think, is the precursor to what is personal information and why you should keep it private. Because if you ask your child what they could do to be safer online, let them come up with the ideas themselves, nudge them in the right direction, give them small suggestions and let them percolate that idea and come up with a reasoned argument for themselves, then they are more likely to stick with it because it is something that they developed for themselves, right? If you give them little hints, like when you ask them what you could do to be safer online, and you say, well, what about personal information? And then they come up with, well, their age, their location, their sex, what school they go with, and they come up with all that stuff themselves, they're going to feel proud that they were intelligent enough and thinking enough to come up with this. They contributed to the discussion. You weren't just lecturing them, and they're more apt to remembering it. Right, guys? Yes? No?
That's right.
I think so. I mean, another thing. What would you do if anyone online asked to meet you face to face? This is a discussion every parent needs to have with their child. Jordan is not my child. I had this discussion with him. We had a 3-hour-long discussion. It wasn't just about this because I kind of let him lead the topic when I'm talking to him, and I do that simply so that he will open up more and more. So it's comfortable. It's a comfortable environment for him. I don't want to play the bad guy. I don't want to play the heavy, but at the same time, he knows I'm the adult, he's a child, and these discussions that we have, they really work. You know, he opens up, he tells me what's going on, and when I asked him this, what would you do if anyone asked you to meet face to face? He was instantly like, well, I'll say, are you crazy? I'm like, well, what if it's a friend, somebody you've been talking to for months? And he said, well, then I'll talk to John, or I'll talk to Mom, or I'll talk to you, and I'll let you know what's going on and whether or not, and that's the answer. Because, you know what? Sometimes kids are going to screw up. Sometimes kids are going to give out more information than they should, and they're going to feel like, okay, this person's a real friend, they want to meet them, and they want to give that information out. Well, even if they screwed up and they give out the first set of information, where they're from, and somebody's trying to meet them now, your kid still needs to know that when it comes to going anywhere, meeting anybody, being in any location with a person that you do not know, I don't care if it's their friend from school's big brother or your hairdresser, because they do not know your hairdresser, you know your hairdresser. They do not approach and talk to these strange people at all, even if they feel like they know that person, That's something for you to vet. That's something for you to decide that, okay, it's safe and they can talk to that person. Now, my last discussion starter is ask your child this. Besides me, who do you feel that you can talk to if you are in a scary or uncomfortable situation? I will repeat this question because it is extremely, extremely important. And this little question might just save your child's life one day, or at least their sanity or their innocence. So please remember it. Ask your child, besides me, who do you feel that you can talk to if you are in a scary or uncomfortable situation? If your child lists a bunch of people, then thank God, because you've done something right and your child is well adjusted and they feel like they can talk to people. They have avenues. They have people they can turn to. They have guidance counselors and friends and family members. But you know what? If your child is isolated because you're a single parent and you don't have a lot of time to spend with them sometimes, and there are real situations in this world that mean we cannot have Cosby-like relationships with our children, and we all understand that. This question can very well save your child, because when you ask them this question and they don't know what the answer is, they can't tell you, then it's up to you to find those people, to introduce your child to situations like, for example, Matt's Taekwondo class, or a chess club, or a Big Brother organization. Some organization that has a responsible and respectable reputation with adults who are responsible and respectable and have some type of, hopefully, psychological training that your child feels comfortable enough with that they can turn to and have an open conversation with, without the thought of punishment or repercussion. And this is essential. Children need to know, no matter what the situation is out there, that even if we're going to get mad, even if we're going to get so angry that we want to punish, the instant thought is we need to punish this behavior, that there is no situation so bad that they can't come to us and say, Mom, Dad, Auntie, or whomever you are to that child, this is what's going on, and I feel like I'm in over my head, or this is making me uncomfortable and I need to talk about it. Please have a direct conversation with your children. Let them know, firstly, that you love them, and secondly, that their welfare is your primary concern. And please, please, please take these tips to heart and start your own discussions today. It is essential for the safety of our children. Now, that's all the time we have tonight on Talk Time with Val. I would like to thank Flint and Matt for being here and helping me with tonight's segment.
You're welcome.
Matt.
Always.
Well, I love having you here. And, I'd like you guys to stay tuned, because next we have Regina on. And Regina's always a hoot and a half, and of course it's a very, very enjoyable show. So I'm going to sign off this week. Please join me on Thursday for the handsome, the debonair, the thrilling John C. Alstack. And he's going to tell us about a new program that his production house is recording right now. Of course, he's the heart and soul, him and Dana Perry Hayes are the heart and soul behind Suspense, which is the #1 hitting radio suspense show. And it's broadcast in over 200 stations around the world. We carry it here on Armed as well. So if you're interested in a sneak peek on the new productions that are going on, tune in on Thursday and join us for that discussion. It is going to be a doozy, I guarantee you that. Of course, on the following Tuesday, I have Mr. Greg Conway and a special guest on Tuesday the 18th. I have Mr. Robert Fleischman, original lead singer of that great band we all know, Journey. So keep tuning in to Talk Time with Val, where we have